He went viral a few years ago for calling himself ugly. Now he says that the world hates men. And honestly, his story has me thinking twice.
I don't really know how to title this video, uh, but this is something that's been on my mind a lot, and it's been showing more and more lately, and it's I feel like it's something I should talk about because part of my viewership are men struggling, and I know that, I acknowledge that. So I felt like just talking about this, but this is something I've been seeing lately, and that's the world doesn't really care about men at all. Like, uh, we've been to me and my wife are having a baby. We've been to the doctor a few times, and they're always like offering support groups and help and everything to her. But there's no one saying anything about me. There's no one is like, oh, the dad, here's like things to do as a father or prepare for as a father. There's nothing like that. It's all only just like women and for women and like how to take care of the child and everything. There's like nothing. There's no, they haven't offered me anything a single time. It's like you'd expect there to be some kind of group for like some kind of system or something for like dads who are expecting to be dads.
What I will say is that I do agree that sometimes when it comes to things like this, matters of childbearing and rearing, the focus is usually on the women, for sure. Cannot deny that. To use that as a way to highlight that the world hates men, can't say I agree with that. I just think that the resources that should be available to men, I don't think they are readily available in the day and age that we are in currently. You would believe that it is, but it really is not. On the other hand, though, I can also understand why more support would be given to your wife as a person carrying a child. I understand and I agree that more resources should be made available to men. And it does say a lot about the responsibility of motherhood, how it's viewed by society. Well, let me not project onto anybody because where they're living, it might be a little different. They might have more support in the country that they're living in. But on my side of the world that I live in, we get support initially because we are carrying the children. But after that, you're kind of on your own.
And where they can like get advice or talk together or anything like that. There's nothing like that, and they don't offer you anything like that. It's like every time I go with my wife to our midwife, because we go once a month, we go on a visit. Every time we go, it's like they look at me as some kind of monster. Like they always ask her like, has he like did he do something? Did he like essay you, or is he an abuser? Has he hit you? They always
No, 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 no. That is actually out of order. How dare you? What is being portrayed in the doctor's office for anybody to just go up to your wife and assume that she's being SA'd or anything along that lines, just to assume that is insane. I am actually baffled. I had a point earlier about like the spaces. When we also think about these spaces for women to get support, they are curated by women. I think a good idea would be for men who have experience being fathers to create groups to inform and support men who are new fathers. That would be a great idea, but I do agree still that the medical industry should provide support for fathers. Women have had to do it all the time, create spaces for ourselves where we can support each other. But I really cannot get over what he's saying about people asking her if she's okay, especially if she's not showing any signs of anything being wrong with her and you just assume.
just ask her. They ask me to go away, and they always ask her these really horrible questions, which is like, why are you asking this to her? Like, what? It's like they preemptively think that every single man like every single man is like a monster. And it's like they have this on a script where they always ask the wife all these things. And that's so weird and unfair. So there's no support groups for me. They always treat me like a monster. And it's like, it feels like that shouldn't even be legal. It's like, if they're gonna have something like that, then it should be like a couple thing where once a year, if you're married or registered as sambos or something, then once a year you should be called to like the police headquarters where you get a separate interview each to where you can talk about if you get abused or anything like that. Like they shouldn't just like go to strictly the wife and be like, "Oh, is your husband a monster?" It's like, and they're like,
And even that too, I do acknowledge that a lot of times when topics like this are brought up, it's usually a case where people think the husband in the relationship or the male in the relationship is more likely to be the abuser. And a lot of times people don't acknowledge that there are a lot of abusive women in relationships as well. Automatically, people will think to take the side of the woman in a relationship when it comes to matters like this. So, in that regard, I also do agree that's a little unfair. The statistics really do show that more men have abusive behaviors, but let's also remember that I don't think it's equal actually, but I think the numbers would be far more inflated if more men actually didn't see it as an attack on their masculinity to report abusive behavior from the women in their lives. Because it does happen. I do think a part of us are conditioned to view men in a certain way, and I do think it is unfair to the men who are not that way. As a woman, because I do not have the lived experience of a man, and I will never tell anybody how to feel about anything that they're experiencing. But as a woman, I can understand not taking certain risks. What I encourage, especially now that I have a child, is don't give anybody the benefit of the doubt. Abuse can be wrapped up in any packaging. Don't trust a single soul. Abuse can look anyway. Just to assume somebody is an abusive person just by their genitalia and how they present, not fair. And I think based on that, I can understand why he would believe that that the world hates men.
ready to write that down. They're like ready to write it down and put it like in some hidden registry to pull that up in the future. Like if a woman would say like, yeah, my husband is he doesn't even have to do anything. They can just lie and say like, yeah, my husband is like a monster and he hits me every day or something. Then they would like write that down in a registry and like the guy would get shit even if it wouldn't be true. And there's no like no one asks or questions the guy for anything, that they just don't care about men in general. And this is just the latest thing. It's always been like this. I remember even long ago when I was with my oldest ex, like we used to have similar physical symptoms, and every time I went to the doctor, they were like, "No, we don't really want to pursue like your to check you up." Because I asked for like I was asking for X-rays, I was asking for a workout EKG, and I was like, "No, we don't really want to give it to you." And but when my oldest ex, when she asked for it, they were like right away, like, "Yes, let's give you all these things." And she got checked up in like just 2 or 3 months. She got all things done. And for me, that took like 6, 7 years to finally whine enough to get it done. It's like they don't really care. And I mean like government wise. I mean like the systems in place in the government right now is like built up to not really care at all about men.
You see, and this is why I love to watch videos like this to get different perspectives from different people. How are you going in an institution to get checked for medical issues? Can they just deny you that don't know culturally what it's like for him? Here in Jamaica, men do not go to the doctor. They will have a single ache for ages, and you're like, as their partner, like, you need to go get that checked out, and they'll be like, no man, I'm a good man, I'm gonna just rub it with, I'm just drink some tea. Let me try home remedies then. I think a lot of medical professionals know that this might be an ache that has been occurring for a long time. I cannot understand how you can go somewhere for something as serious as a medical checkup and they say no, we don't feel like doing it. How is that legal? I do not understand. Where does he live? It does seem like a gender biased thing, because if his partner at the time was able to do those same checkups in a matter of weeks or months. I don't remember what he said. And he was not. Why not? I want to acknowledge also that he is saying that there are also things within government policies that make him feel isolated and not looked out for. I think a lot of the things that might happen to him is because of, unfortunately, because of the way he looks. The world overall is very cruel to people that they do not find physically attractive. I can tell you because once upon a time I was on that side of and depending on what day it is and where I am, I'm still on that side of reality where people kind of overlook you because of the way that you look. I do also acknowledge that a lot of the things that he experiences might be a personal thing, and this might not happen for every man. That doesn't make it right, and I don't think that makes the things that he's saying inaccurate. I just think that it might be amplified for him. I don't know if it's because of the way how I was initially introduced to him years ago, that I acknowledge the struggle that he faces. So I keep that in the back of my mind.
It's very it's very rough. So I'm very glad that our child is gonna be a girl. I'm very, very glad about that.
That's really sad.
Because I wouldn't want it would be feel very. It's rough. It was if it was a boy and with my genes and into this world that literally hates men.
You see, in a world where a woman's beauty is her currency, if that woman is not beautiful, I'm telling you right now, it's going to be rough for her too. It's not just a man thing. I think men can probably get away with not being as physically attractive, much more so than women. The way how society perceives you is in a lot of ways surrounded by what you look like. I promise you, you don't get passes as a girl. Promise you that. It's very cruel out here for women. Women are expected to be beautiful. So if you're not,
It's like it's just how it is. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. I just felt like venting a bit about it because it's rough. It's rough after everywhere. And yeah, I'm not saying being a woman is easy. It's of course it's hard being a woman too. It's hard being alive in general. It's just
definitely.
there's so many unfair systems. I'm sure most other guys have felt something like that too, to some degree. Um, or maybe it's just certain cases where it's just like there's always this chance that it only happens to me. But I've talked to a lot of people who have had similar experiences, so it'd be strange if it was only to me. But let me know what y'all think about it. Do you all feel, have you guys been through the same thing? And women, have you, if you've ever been pregnant or something like that, have you ever noticed how they don't really give any support or any advice or anything to your husbands? Uh, Let me know in the comments what you all think about it, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye bye.
Apparently, this video got a lot of hate. I do not understand why. When I got in the comments, a lot of the hate comments were overshadowed by a lot of men chastising people for leaving comments that were not so pleasant. To answer his question, my husband was different. My husband is a talker. So even though maybe the things weren't directed to him, he asked questions and he got answers, and he was able to understand. Also, he's a nerd, so he's very, and I say that in the best, sexiest way possible. He's a nerd. He loves learning about things. So if information is not given, he seeks it out. I don't think he got unfairly treated, but then again, I cannot speak on his perspective. It's not something that we have ever discussed, so it might be possible but that he didn't feel as supported as he would have wanted to. I don't understand why people hated this video. He was very respectful, and I think conversations like this do need to happen. It's nice to see men actually being a little bit more vulnerable and voicing concerns about things that matter to them in a way that is respectful. He was very respectful, just asking a question and seeing if there is anybody else that can relate to him. Let us learn to respect each other, please. And when I say these things, I'm not doing it to chastise anybody. It's kind of like a mental note to myself as well, that we need to be careful and be mindful of the way that we communicate with each other. But if you as a man have ever experienced anything like this, do you feel a lack of support from your society? For women, do you notice that men are treated differently in certain spaces as well? And what would you suggest for men? Because like I said earlier, a lot of times we have to create the spaces for ourselves. So how do they go about creating spaces for themselves to feel supported and comforted? Leave your thoughts down below. Specifically to him, I do send love and support in like virtual. There's not much I can do from where I am. It's really good to have conversations like this. Let me know your thoughts on this down below.